It's the SawCast, where real people speak that real shit on real topics, and I go by the name of Stevo. And we got a special guest, AO, in the building today, man. So what we gonna do is we gonna talk about you going to Hampton University. Why'd you pick the HBCU? Then going into cybersecurity, then DJing, right? So now, what I want to start off with first is how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. Feeling good. Got a workout in this morning, so
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you for being here, brother.
Of course.
So, Hampton University, let's start there. That's
Yeah.
a HBCU. So, what made you pick a HBCU in Hampton University at that?
Yeah. So funniest thing is that I wasn't familiar with HBCUs when I was applying to college. So I grew up in Philadelphia, and then I joined this boarding program called A Better Chance, which basically took underprivileged youth and sent them to better schools throughout the country. So I grew up in Philadelphia, went to school in Philly, and in high school I moved out to the suburbs, somewhere called King of Prussia, like the suburbs of Philadelphia, and I was out there. And so really when I was out there, my thought, I'm like, all right, well, I had took a tour like all the Ivy League schools and all that, and I was like, all right, well, I might want to apply to like, obviously like Harvard, Yale, Syracuse was one of them. I know that's not an Ivy, but that was like my top school at the time. But big thing for me was money. I was like, well, I'm not trying to pay all these loans back and all that. So Hampton had hit me up. Hampton and Howard had hit me up actually, and they was like, yo, we want you to apply here. So I applied. They gave me basically like a half ride, so they paid half of my tuition throughout the time. And between the two, I think at the time, I don't know if people remember, around like 2017, 2018, Howard was going through like some financial aid stuff where it was like embezzlement. I was like, I don't know if I could really rock with that. So that's why I picked Hampton. I never visited Hampton before I went. So my first time on campus was the first time me moving in. But I'm glad that I picked it because now looking back, it was like my experience in high school. I'm surrounded by a lot of affluent, white people. And growing up, I'm surrounded by a bunch of black people. I felt like I kind of wanted to get back to that. And it was kind of the best of both worlds where Hampton, you had a whole bunch of educated and driven, black people. And it was just a great environment. Everybody it was fun. It was, good energy. And like I said, everybody was driven. So it wasn't just like, oh, we just partying and that's what it is. Like, everybody had goals and places that they wanted to go.
Right.
So that's really why I chose Hampton. And also, I guess, why I'm glad that I went to Hampton.
Right. So like kind of tied in together kind of with things that are important to you at the same time.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's always going to be black forever, man. Black people, I love my community.
Yeah.
And so whenever I can be surrounded by people in the community that's actually doing something positive and doing something that like, is uplifting people, I'm all for it.
Okay, so you went to Hampton and you said you never visited.
Yeah.
But you did cybersecurity. So what made you do cybersecurity?
So funny enough, again, I didn't really go into it knowing that I wanted to do cybersecurity. I went into it and I was like, well, I want a job that's gonna pay me a lot of money. That's a common theme that you're gonna see with me. Is like money was like a big thing. I'm like, yo, look, I'm trying to get paid. So I had always been good with computers kind of as a kid. And so I was like, well, computers come easy to me. People was getting paid off of this joint. So I'm going to just do that. I got there. I actually started in computer science. Did that for about a year. And then I looked at the curriculum that they was going to have me doing till I graduated.
You want to keep coding?
Well, so it wasn't the coding. It was the math. I was like, man, I ain't really trying to like, I felt like I was like, man, I didn't spent all of my high school doing math. I think I had got up to like calculus in high school, and then they was like, "Oh, well, we gonna want you to take linear algebra." Like, man, I'm just trying to chill, have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I love learning, but at the same time, I'm in college. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, enjoy myself. So I was like, all right, well, let me try and find kind of a degree path that doesn't have as heavy math load, and that's where cybersecurity came into play because it was mostly like they had us taking mostly like governance and like history classes and all that. So that's that's really where I went into that. And then I found out that like I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, this is cool. So
All right, I fuck with it. I can make a little money.
yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Yeah.
So now we got cybersecurity out the way, and we here for DJing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Hampton, cybersecurity. Now,
Yeah.
what made you go into DJing from cybersecurity though?
So it wasn't really. So I kind of do both in parallel. So during the day I'm cybersecurity, nighttime I'm DJing.
Okay.
I had been making music on and off since about 2018. I started making music with a couple of my homies in high school, and then in college I linked up with some other homies that I met, and we continued to make music. And I think really what came about it was a couple years ago was kind of just thinking like, okay, yo, we got all this music, like, and we know that we make good songs, we get in the feedback. It's like, now how do we get people's ears on it? Because I think one of the big things when it comes to making music is like, as an artist, you like to make music, but in this current day and age, you got to do more than make music. You got to make music, then you got to make like the content behind it. And it's like, it kind of all of the kind of business aspects and the marketing aspects kind of eat away at, I feel like, the passion. And so one of the things that I was thinking was like, all right, well, how do we get the music played out in places and it doesn't feel as forced, I guess I'll say. And I'll say forced for me, because I know like me, like making content and all that stuff, it can get overwhelming for me. Yeah. So I was like, well, why don't I start DJing? And so I had bought a board like December 2024. I was kind of just playing around with it. And around that time also, there was this DJ group. I guess it's like a DJ drummer duo called Brand New Funk. I used to go to they sets every Sunday. They would do like old school hip hop. Yeah. And so, I'd be up in there with the old heads just right. jamming and vibing. Yeah. And I was like, yo, this is cold. And the venue that they was in, it was like this little backyard venue. It's called The Armory down in Deep Ellum. Okay. And I was inspired. So that plus trying to get the music out there, I was like, all right, well, this is like the perfect joint. So after I bought the board, I played around a bit. I was like, all right, well, I'm at a point where I kind of got more money than I got time. And so I'm like, it was a school called Soundworks DJ Academy. Shout out to them. All right. I signed up for a class there, sip and spin class. So they have like these $45 classes where an hour. Yeah, sip and spin. Basically, you come through, no experience, BYOB. And basically they'll show you like the basics of DJing, and by the end of the joint you'll be mixing songs together. What? And so my teacher for that joint, shout out Johnny, DJ Johnny Childs, he was my teacher for it, and that kind of pushed me into, all right, you know what, I'm gonna sign up for the class. Yeah. I'm gonna go take this all the way. So took the class at Soundworks, and they take you through the whole joint. So it's like by the end of, there's 2 classes that you take. So I took one in June and I took one in August. Yeah. By the end of the August class, man, I'm DJing basically at a club. Now it wasn't like prime time night, obviously, but it was like, we in the club environment, people around.
You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. So ever since then, it's kind of just been, building that up. I feel like, really just going around, meeting people, trying to, get my name out there, networking with other DJs, networking with other people that be in the crowd too, because, it's not just about meeting the behind the scenes people, but you want to meet the people that's actually going to support you and come out to your events and all of that stuff. So that's really kind of a long-winded answer of kind of how I got into DJing.
Yeah, but I mean that's good though, because sometimes you need a backstory, and sometimes you need to know how the different things connect, and you got to think people might be watching this that might be interested.
For sure.
So now you giving them names and you giving them people, and they like, oh, okay, boom, I know where to go. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they in the DFW area, they like, okay, them are some reputable sources, right? Yeah. But so there's I don't know that much about DJing, but what I see, y'all got a system, and it connects with y'all turntables, right? Yeah. So with you being in IT already and in cybersecurity and already having systems that you look at and see every day, did you have any transferable skills that help you in DJing?
I think so. To your point about systems, I think that kind of thinking really does help with one, when you learning the board, and then also when you building out your DJ sets. And then too, the technical stuff that could go into it. Cause like some boards, you gotta like install a driver on there. And sometimes, you'll connect your board to your PC and one side won't light up or something won't work. So, me being in IT, I felt like I was knowledgeable on how to do that troubleshooting because, we got to do that on a day-to-day. Right.
Every day.
So I feel like that was really the main thing that transferred between IT and DJing.
So you spoke kind of like about like how you gotta get yourself out there and then you had to network with the right people. So that means that's a bit of socializing. But you said that the content part, you know what I'm saying, is one thing that you kind of didn't like. But do you like the social aspect more? And if you if so, what's the importance of being social and getting your name out there and meeting the right people? Like, how important is that, being social? Right?
I think honestly it's the most important thing, because honestly it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Like, there are some very talented DJs out there that are not getting booked as much just because they don't know the right people. And so you talk to people, and I feel like getting to know people, you not only meet people in the industry and they can kind of help you navigate not just with opportunities but also just like navigating the landscape, but also through networking with people like in the crowd, you get to know what people like, what people don't like. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like in this day and age, social media, it gives people don't really got to think about what they say. They could just go and type a little comment out and go. Like,
boom, boom.
I don't know if you see all the stuff that's online where people talk about like, oh, the DJs ain't playing the deep cuts. The DJs ain't playing the good music. I'm tired of hearing Can We Talk. Bro, I didn't see that. I swear I see that comment maybe every week. I have not heard Can We Talk this year. I have not heard. And I be outside. I be going to these events. I be supporting anybody that knows me will be like, yes, he be outside. He be meeting with people. He be supporting different DJs. I have not heard that song, but people always comment, oh man, the DJs ain't playing the right songs. And so it's like, I feel like when you meet people and you actually get to face and talk to people, you can kind of like check temp and see who really knows like they music and who really comes out to these events for an appreciation of music, or who's just coming out here just because they trying to get lit. And I think it can help you as a DJ not to get discouraged by all the comments and stuff like that, or not feel like you have to change up your lane in order to really like be your best. Because I'm not gonna lie, I like Can We Talk. DJ, you know what I'm saying? DJ play Can We Talk in the club.
One of my favorites.
Exactly. I'm singing that joint every time. Now, granted, too, I like the deep cuts too. Like, I will say, like Read Your Mind by Avant. It's like tracks like that I don't hear as much often. I do appreciate hearing those as well. But I know from the DJ perspective, it's like, if I go and I play this song, you know what I'm saying? Like, what could I say? Like, if I play, what's the song I'm thinking of? One of them joint by Donnell Jones. You play like, for example, what is it? Shorty Got Her Eyes on Me or something like that. Yeah. Everybody might not know that joint if you play it. Now, if you like R&B, you gonna know that. That's not like that deep of a cut.
Most people not though.
Right, but most people not. And so if I go and I play this, it might be the three aunties and the couple young cats that really like that stuff. Rest of the crowd gonna be silent. They not really, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like getting out and talking and socializing, you really get a better understanding of the landscape altogether.
So you can get a better understanding of the landscape, but when you actually there and you in person, how do you gauge that though? How do you know like what the audience wants to hear? Is it by their body language, or is it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so a lot of times it's body language, but you have to be careful now because, and this is me, I can't say that, actually I guess I could say, you think 10, 15 years ago, if you was to go to a function, now this is like early social media, 10, 15 years ago.
For sure.
People, when they going out, they're going to be talking to people. They're going to be socializing. They're going to be with their group. People was more, face to face.
Yeah.
So you could kind of tell when people was enjoying the music versus when it was kind of like, because everybody would just be standing around. Whereas nowadays, people be sitting there enjoying the music, but they scrolling on their phone. So you can't tell. Or at least that, it's a bit difficult. It's a bit more difficult to tell. Okay. So it's like one of the things you got to trust that you know your music. You have to trust that your set is good because not everybody's going to dance. But usually what I'll do is I will play towards the folks that's dancing, because a lot of people, they feed off of energy. And I know a lot of,
That's a fact.
many people like to think, oh yeah, I'm a leader. I think my own thing. But it's like, man, for majority of people, if it ain't nobody dancing on the dance floor, you probably not gonna be the first person getting up to dance on the dance floor.
Unless you that one that's, you feel me?
Exactly.
I might be the one.
Right. But it's like,
But I'm 1 out of 10.
Exactly. And so for the other 9, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna play to the 1, and then hopefully that 1 get 2. And then that 2 could get 4, and now everybody dancing. And so really it's building up that energy so that people are comfortable to dance, and then seeing, okay, well, what are they dancing to? Like, if you got the aunties in there, you're going to be playing like the 90s,
Right,
the 2000s, 80s. Right. But if you got, the young shorties in there or whatever, you might be playing some Sexy Red Lotto, all that. You got to go to.
Hello.
Exactly. You got to go to the demographic. So that's really how I go about it.
So, the socializing, the networking, that's all cool. That's all great, right? Well, let me ask you something serious, though.
Sure.
You a DJ, and everybody talks about the groupies, man.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that, and how does that affect your personal relationships?
So, I don't feel like I have groupies. People may disagree. I don't feel like I have groupies. I feel like I have, people are interested in
your DJ.
Yeah, and the stuff I'm doing, that's,
and they support you.
Right.
I feel like follow you around.
Hey man, I feel like, that's what it is. How it impacts personal relationships. I feel like, what I'm saying, as long as you honest and upfront, everything is cool. You keep everything above board, it ain't no problem.
Don't let that go over your head now.
I feel like, I'm saying, you keep everything straight up with everybody, you ain't gonna have no issue with nobody. But I'll say for me personally, it hasn't really impacted my personal relationships because of that. It's like I'm straight up with everybody. I'm honest. I'm like, yo, look, all right, well, this is what this is what this ain't. And what I'm saying, if you like it, then cool. If not, the door is always open.
Open door policy.
Absolutely. Just know it locked behind you.
Damn. You don't spin a block, huh?
Well, if I spin the block, I'm going to unlock the door, but I don't know about spinning the block back on me.
Dang. Okay, so you can allow it. If you do it, it's okay.
If I do it, it's cool.
But if she do it, what you spinning for?
It depends.
Keep spinning.
It depends.
Tell her keep spinning. Go do a donut. Tell her go do a donut.
Yeah.
But that's funny. You said real shit. But no, like, so how does it cut into your like personal time? Because like you got work, and then outside of work, and then you got work again.
Yeah.
So like, there's not much time for personal.
There's not.
So because you got parents and family, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta talk to them because now you in Dallas and they in Philly. So how does that even work?
Honestly, I'm still working that out. I'm the type that, like, when an opportunity comes, man, if I feel like I can do it and I feel like it's something that I would enjoy doing, I'm gonna take it. And so I think, I'm blessed to say that a lot of opportunities have been coming my way. And I think the thing that I'm learning now is that some opportunities, though they may be good, you don't have to say yes to every opportunity. And so to your point, personal time, man, it ain't a lot. I mean, shoot, it's like even today, woke up in the morning, I had worked out at 8 a.m, came back, I was prepping, I got a gig tomorrow at a church, prepped for that all the way up until I was coming here. After this, I'm gonna go back, I gotta finish prepping for that, and then I'm prepping for the kickback at the Cove later on.
Vibes.
Yeah, so it's like, and that joint gonna go until like 1, 2 in the morning. So it's like it ain't really no time in the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Unless she at the joint.
You said what?
Unless she there.
Well, I mean, if we talking about nah.
He said no. He said not at the Cove.
This ain't what.
He said not at the Cove.
we gotta keep it business. We gotta keep it business.
So just business at the Cove. I got you.
A mix, but we keep it friendly.
I got you. Man, so let's go back to the curating the vibes. I know we spoke about a lounge vibe being different than like a performance vibe. So like, what's the difference between DJing on some lounge chill type stuff and DJing before like a performance type of thing?
So I would say the difference is really, I would say rather than calling it like lounge versus performance, I will also loop in like clubs, coffee shop, all of that stuff. Basically, the difference is, are you playing and people are coming to watch you, or are you playing as background for something else that's going on? So like, for example, I'm playing in a lounge. The people that are coming, it may be some people that's coming to see me, but a lot of the people that are coming, they coming on a date, or they coming to go meet up with a friend or a coworker, or maybe they coming to do some work. They're not trying to really pay attention to what I got going on. And so if I'm doing these crazy transitions and all that stuff like that catches their attention, like, cool, he doing something crazy, but that's not what I came here for. Compared to if I'm doing a performance and it's like, no, people came here to see you. That's different. That's kind of when you like show out, you do your crazy transitions and all that, really things that catch people's attention and catch people's eye. Like, you got to know when to play the background and when to be the main character. That's what I would say the main difference between the two is.
So is the playlist different though?
So,
or is it just like the volume?
I think it's more so the transitions that's the most different. The playlist can be the same. Like, I can go and play, for example, a rap set or R&B set, and the playlist can be identical. But it's the transitions between them that would be different. I will say that for a performance, you may see more of a variety.
Yeah.
Like, I might try and go from rap all the way to like 80s yacht rock. And in a regular set, and it's like, well, the vibes need to be a little more consistent,
more in the same kind of.
Yeah.
If it's R&B, keep it
right,
R&B.
kind of keep it R&B. Whereas for a
Gotcha.
performance, I like, for example, this one of the more tamer transitions, but I did this transition one time. What was it, John? I went from the song it's a Chris Brown song with DJ Drama. I forget what the name of it is, but during it, Chris Brown said this line like flashing lights.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that to transition to Kanye West flashing lights. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And it's like, it's a smoother transition that's not as crazy, but it's also like, dang, if I came to the lounge, you said it's an R&B night, it's like, I'm not, I'm trying to hear R&B. Let's keep it R&B. Let's keep it, chill. So I would say that's kind of the big difference.
Okay. And so we touched on the Kickback at the Cove, man. So tell the people, what is Kickback at the Cove and how did it start?
So how did Kickback at the Cove start? Man, okay. So really, this goes back to like 2021. The guys that I linked up with, shout out Lance, shout out Gene. That's my guys from college. We linked up. We was making music together. We had this collective called Article 3. We kind of we was flowing with that as we all, me and Lance, we moved out to Dallas. I moved out to Dallas first. Lance moved out a couple years after. And so we kind of wanted to do a bit of a rebrand and kind of build out like really what we was trying to build out, what Article 3 was trying to be. And so really we came up with this, I guess you call it creative house or a creative company. That's what we're trying to build it out to be, called Axiom. Okay. And so one of the things with Axiom that we were trying to do is, okay, well, how do we create an environment that builds community, offers something a bit different, but also is still like, a fun vibe. And so that's kind of where we came up with the idea of the Kickback at the Cove. And so it really started, it was just a couple of friends. We didn't really intend on doing it multiple times, but we was just like, all right, well, let's do it. We'll have some people come through. We'll have like food, drinks, and, people could just come vibe. And I mean, it was a hit. Folks came through. Everybody loved it. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, when's the next one? And so we just started doing them monthly. And so now we got another one today. And it's for Lance's birthday. Shout out Lance.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So his birthday was on Tuesday. So
really?
Yeah. So this joint gonna be like his kind of birthday celebration.
Wow.
But
and I was invited.
You said what?
I said, and I was invited.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely, man. Absolutely. But yeah, so that's really how that came about. And now honestly, I think it's at a spot where, like, if it expands, cool. But I think the vibe that we have right now and the people that come, because we'll have new people come every time, but you also have kind of a consistent base of people that come. Mm-hmm. I think it's at a great spot. I think we're building up community. I've heard that, people have come and they start hanging out outside of what we got going on. People that never met, they start hanging out and going out to different stuff. So I'm feel like
it's probably the ladies, huh?
Well, I mean, the ladies and some of the dudes too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I feel like it's,
I was just saying that because being there, like I guess it's everybody cool.
Yeah,
Kinda thing.
everybody's
Everybody
vibing.
cool.
And so I feel like, the goal, we're really reaching the goal that we intended on doing. I think the next step really is to, start kind of putting out those products. And I don't really want to call them products, but I guess projects. Like, for example, the music. I'm just starting to get into cinematography, so I'm like kind of studying like the art of filmmaking, studying script writing and all that stuff. So like even
For like short films,
yeah,
or
like short films, yeah.
short films?
So it's an event today. Oh my, see, we was talking about schedule. You just reminded me. I got a whole event that I have to go to at 5:00 today. I did a promo video for them, and so part of that was just writing the script, filming the video out, editing it, and all that. So it's like being able to share projects like that with the audience, and then also find people that are interested in doing stuff like that. Like at the Cove, we got people that edit, we got people that take photos, we got people that do videos. So it's also bringing together a community of not only just cool, dope people, but also creatives that also want to build stuff. So I think that's really the next step, is like having actual projects that actually come out of these things, and promoting them and all working together to really build something great.
So you kind of touched on it, with that being kind of like the kickback at the Cove, and which I want to do with that and expand on that. Because the next question was like, what is your end goal with the DJing? But that's kind of already kind of tied in.
Yeah, I mean, I can touch on that a bit. I mean, I think my end goal with DJing, honestly, it's my end goal with everything. Just take it to where it's gonna go.
Right.
Take it as far as I can take it.
Kind of keep jumping around until like the next thing builds on that and builds on that.
Exactly.
And then expands off of
Yeah,
that.
like, cause you never know. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I could, like, I didn't really consider myself, like, I'm not really trying to do the wedding DJ stuff, like the corporate DJ stuff, because I like to play what I like to play.
Yeah.
So, when you take those kind of gigs and stuff, you kind of got to play what they want you to play, which sometimes it aligns and sometimes it doesn't. And so I think the beauty of anything that I do creative is that I have the freedom to be able to express myself through that creative medium.
So it's a control factor, like controlling the way that your content is curated and heard.
I think a part of it is control, but I think also more, I would say less control, more expression, because I feel like I don't ever want to work on something or put something out that I'm not aligned with. Because again, I use all of this as a form of expression. And so it's like, if I do a short film, or if I, let's say work on some clothes, because I also like to design like fashion pieces and all that. So anything that I work on is going to be an expression of my values, my beliefs, or, some internal part of me. So I like that. To your point, it is a part of control. I do like to have that control over, my life and what I'm involved in.
So it sounds like you want to start curating events kind of based off of your own kind of ideals and the ideals of the group, per se.
That's a part of it.
So is that kind of like the angle and the area that you're going? And then also you spoke on like expression, because I know you said that's a part of the reason why you started doing music as well. Has that changed, or is it still the main basis is about the expression, as you said, like, and is that why you don't want to do things to where you feel like you're boxed in because of that expression, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a lane for you to get out your creativity.
Yeah.
Right. So is that like, so it sounds like that's like the main thing.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, I do think that a part of it is building out events and curating events that that I think are dope, that the people that I'm working with think are dope, and that people that come to it think is dope. Like, my goal is not, I want to have an event and I want 5,000 people to come. Like, I don't care if it's 50 people that pull up. I mean, at the Cove, we have about like 50 people that'll pull up to the Cove, and it's like, right, exactly. It's like, to some people they'll be like, damn, you only have 50 people, like, it's just small time. Whereas like for me, I'm like, yeah, I have 50 people, but it's a vibe every single time that you go. The energy and the output that comes from the event is what's most important to me. So that's to your first question. And the second question about the expression, I don't think that's changed at all. I feel like expression is always going to be the main thing. I think, as I was growing up, I kind of, as a black man growing up in America, you not really provided a space to be able to express yourself and be vulnerable.
Not openly and freely.
Exactly, not openly and freely. And I would say I do think that things are starting to change as time goes on. But me coming up, I'm early 2000s and all that. It's like especially growing up in the inner city and all that. Like you gotta like put on this tough guy facade. Like, oh yeah, I'm hard. Don't nothing faze me. I don't cry about nothing. So like for me, it was very difficult to be able to express how I felt. And music was one of the main ways that I went about doing that. And so I think, even as the time is now, it's always going to be about expression, and maybe not just the expression of my own internal feelings, but my expression of like ideas and things that I'm learning. Like, for example, so like I grew up in a church. So, I identify as Christian.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's some places and some churches have an issue with taking things that you learn from outside of the Bible and applying them inside of the church. I feel like they can't really see the similarities between certain things.
You definitely got to
for sure.
Definitely got to give examples.
So like for example, I've been recently I've been interested in this psychologist. His name is Carl Jung.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has this basically he has this concept of that he calls like individuation. And so the way that Jung talks about the humanity, there's three parts of you as a person. You have your ego, you have the persona, and then you have the shadow. And so the ego is basically like kind of what you like grew up as, and the things that like other people have kind of like put on you, like things that you kind of adapted to, like socially. The persona is how you show those things. That's like how you express those out when you're in a social setting. And then the shadow is kind of all the kind of undesirable things about you that you kind of like put away. So actually, let me rephrase. The ego is, those are the things about you that you identify with, I should say.
Okay.
So it's like ego, this is the things I identify with about myself. These are the things I like about myself, things that I want other people to know about me. The persona is how you express those things in a social setting. And then the shadow is more so about the things that you don't really like and you kind of like, kind of push them to the side. And so Jung's concept of individuation is essentially all of these parts of you are you. And it's about combining them. Instead of going and taking the undesirable parts that you're like, I don't really like, it's recognizing and accepting like, this is a part of me and it doesn't define me. You know what I'm saying? It might be something that you're ashamed about, something that you like insecure about or whatever, but it's like, this is a part of me. And if I want to change something about it, I'm gonna change something. And if I can't change anything about it, it's me. This is my life. This is the one life I got. So this is how I'm living. And so, for me, it's like taking things like that. Like when I learn stuff like I be super interested in philosophy and psychology and all that. So when I learn things like that, it's like, okay, humanity is we're very big on storytelling. That's how we've gone about, that's how we go about learning and everything. Exactly.
Those are orators.
Right.
The preachers are orators.
Exactly.
They're telling the story to the audience.
Right. Exactly.
Which is the church members.
Precisely. And so the way I look at it is like, well, and I guess I didn't really get on how that goes back into Christianity. The Carl Jung, how that gets back into it, I feel like is and I'm still kind of learning it, but is this idea of accepting that you are who you are and you're loved anyway. Like the Bible always says like God loves you kind of as you are.
Yeah.
And I think what society or what the world will tell you is, oh, well, you need to perform this, you need to be like this in order to be accepted, or you have to like, act this certain way.
Fit into this box.
Right. And so I think it's interesting when I see like, okay, Jung's talking about this thing of like accepting who you are. And then Christianity also has like this thing that talks about like accepting who you are and accepting that God still loves you, like no matter what. And it's like, why is it so difficult, I would say in that perspective, like to look at them and see the similarities between them? Because the The outcomes
you saying for people in the church.
I'm saying for people in the church, even for people outside of the church, where it's like, you know, it might be a person that's like, oh, I don't believe in Christianity, I don't believe in none of that. But it's like, I believe in this. And it's like, I mean, but this is saying the same kind of thing.
Right,
like it
right,
ain't,
right.
it's no, you know.
Well, I think it's because as people in this modern age with so much information and so much being plastered in your face, and then you have influencers and with different titles. Now it's different because the idolizing
Absolutely
has become a thing.
Absolutely.
So now if you don't fit the idol's image, then you're outside of what the norm should be.
Yeah.
And right, what is the norm, right? That's what the problem is we're accepting a norm that shouldn't be. The norm should be accepting everybody for who they are instead of accepting everybody for being this box cutter, cookie cutter, and outside of that, right? That's why people are afraid to express themselves truly and honestly because of the judgment that comes with it.
For sure. Yeah. And I think one of the things that people often have a thing with is like, when it comes to being, it's two sides to it. People feel like when it comes to acceptance, it's like, oh, well, if I accept you, it's like I have to agree with you. And it's like for example, I'm Christian. I got Muslim friends. I may not agree with you on what your beliefs is. It doesn't mean that I have to like, oh, you know, you a bad person, judge XYZ. We can have discussions about it. Anybody that knows me knows I'm willing to have an 8-10 hour conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I love to learn, and I also believe that, you know, we all live in a shared reality with shared truth. And so at the end of the day, all we looking for is the truth. Why are we here? What's going on with everything? So it's like, I can accept that, all right, this is what you believe, this is what you think, and I think what I think. And we can still, you know what I'm saying, I can still treat you as a human being.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you 100% that a lot of people have, they have trouble understanding that, like, connection between, like, just because you accept a person for, you know, that they have their own thoughts and feelings and free will, that you now have to agree with them. And that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to have different thoughts and be able to discuss those without, you know, coming to blows or whatever.
So what I believe in is that variety helps the society. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have people that's different around you that's challenging what you think and believe, a lot of times that means you got to go back to the drawing board because you might not know enough about what you believe or what you think, right? And then just challenging, because if you got people all that say yes to what you believe and what you think, you're never growing.
For sure.
Because change comes challenge. You know what I'm saying? With change comes challenge, and with growth, you have to change. See what I'm saying? But we have a era right now to where people are losing the authenticity of that.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Now they think, oh, we all have to be the same, and we all have to think the same, and we all have to. No, we don't. Because if we did, then there wouldn't be different stores. There wouldn't be different brands. There wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? Different colors.
For sure. Yeah.
So if everything is supposed to be the same, it would have been the same, but it wasn't. So let's accept each other for our differences and agree to disagree sometimes.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes you're right. Conversations ain't going to come to an agreement. Sometimes it's just going to be, hey, look, you think that, I think this is what it's going to be. And yeah, you got to be cool with that. I feel that 100%.
So the last thing I got for you is, what advice could you give anybody who's trying to start being a DJ?
Advice that I would give, for one, learn your music. And when I say learn your music, I mean like listen, whatever music you're trying to play, listen to that genre. Learn, like, you know, what are the hits from that genre? What are the songs that you like from that genre? Because it's like, you shouldn't just be going and playing what everybody else think is popular. You know, you want to have your own style, your own flavor. You got to listen to the music and understand it. I would recommend you buy a Flex 4. It's like a $200 board. It has anything that you need. DDJ Flex 4. $200 board. Basically, you could really DJ on that like anywhere. You go to a club and DJ on that if they let you hook up to the sound system and all that. But and then I would say, for real, get out and support other DJs, because the thing about it is, a lot of people are willing to help, but they have to see that you putting in the work. You know, you can't just
be as a DJ.
As a DJ, yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can't just go and you know, you one day come out, hey, I want you to put me on your event, and it's like, you ain't never been to one of these events. You ain't never been to go see that DJ do what they doing. You may follow them on social media, but you don't support none of their content. It's like, it's kind of, I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show that you support and then you invest in if you want people to invest in you. So, you know, you get out. Like, one of the things I did when I first started DJing, man, like when I actually started getting out and networking, every night I'm going to somebody's DJ set. I may be going to 3 DJ sets in a night. I'm talking about driving from this venue to this venue. I'm taking a video, you know, I'm posting them on my story, you know, highlighting them, hyping them up. You know, even at times, like if it was my first time coming to your set, you know, I'll come over, yo, you good? You want something to drink? Something like that, you know, just to show like, yo, I'm supporting you. I rock with what you're doing. You know, I think you're doing a good job. And, you know, if nothing comes of it, nothing comes of it. But at the end of the day, I feel like leading with that support, what's the saying? You catch a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And so, you know, you go, you be nice to people, people be nice to you.
And that's the SawCast. We appreciate y'all, man. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you, AO.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime, for sure.